Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat. Today is Sunday, and as all of you know, every Sunday we are organizing various sessions, various topics on different aspects of the awareness required within the society. And today also we are going to discuss a very important topic, and we have distinguished guest from Dubai along with us. So today the topic that we are going to discuss is building a scientific and rational India. Is it possible? So basically, as if we know, India has a long history of scientific development and a growing emphasis on rational thinking, though challenges remain in fostering a truly scientific temper across all segments of India. And India as a country had made significant strides in science and technology. However, the caste system, social hierarchy, pockets of superstition, and irrational beliefs still persist and requiring continued efforts to promote the scientific awareness and critical thinking. So scientific temper is crucial for India's development. And in this sense, also, what does the Constitution of India says about it? There are many more things which we would like to discuss in today's topic, which is scientific development and building a scientific and rational India. How it can be, is it really feasible or possible? And along with us, we have distinguished guest, Mr. Mulnivasi Arhant Patharde sir, who is International Coordinator of BAMCEF. So without wasting more time, let me welcome Mulnivasi Arhant Patharde sir. Sir, Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, and welcome to MNT News Network.
Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, sir, and all the viewers of MNT News Network. It's been quite fascinating to every Sunday we have an English, English topic for a subject for discussion. So once again, thanks for welcoming me. Thanks for giving an opportunity to speak about this very important subject today.
Yeah.
So
basically, to start with, we would like to know from you what are the historical roots of rationality in India, and was there really a conflict between the rationality and orthodoxy? What do you say?
Yeah, basically, can India, about the subject, can India truly become a scientific and rational society? The question mark is big. So basically, why this question mark is big? Today India is known as a quite sainthood, a bhakti movement, many temples, and so many Abbas and Babas. We come across so many spiritual Babas having their hearts, and people are flocking to their their speeches and their what you can say. Their sabhas, their satsangs, and a lot of in between. We have also heard about news of people getting getting died in in a lot of incidences which has happened in all those points. So basically, India was not like that. So as you put forward the question, what are the roots of rationalism in Indian Indian civilization? So basically, India was not like what we are seeing it today. India was completely different. Let us begin by reminding ourselves that rational thinking and spirit of questioning are not foreign to Indian soil. They are deeply rooted in our cultural heritage. So, for example, the biggest rationals, rational thinkers of the world, if somebody makes a list of these rational thinkers, there will be 5 to 6 names in this top 5 names. So I would like to tell you what are those rational thinkers who have really tried in our cultural heritage that rational thinking should be the prerequisites of a society formation. So let us talk about Charvak. The Charvak, the ancient material philosopher, has rejected the superstition and blind rituals. He boldly stated in his own statement, Yavat Jivet, Sukham Jivet. Live happily while you live. So challenging the exploitative religious dogmas during that time. So it was talking about before Buddha's period. Before 500 BC, I am talking about. So then when it comes to Buddha, let's talk about Buddha now. What Buddha says, which is the light of Asia. Edwin Arnold called him as a light of Asia. So he said, you should come and see, experience, and then only believe. So the faith was having a roots in rationalism. What did he say? He said, Ehi Passiko in Pali, which means Come and see yourself. He urged people to test every idea through reason and experience, not by the blind faith. The Buddha emphasized on compassion guided by wisdom. So Buddha is just not an apostle of peace. We say it's apostle statue of peace. We count on a lot of other thinkers, philosophers as thinkers of peace, as either as an idol of peace. But Buddha's message was to emphasize on the compassion which is guided by the wisdom, prajna, not fear and miracles. So he never believed in fearing people and making them believe his message. That is what altogether different what we see in today's world. Then we have other rational thinkers. So, like I would like to quote here, Sant Kabir, Sant Guru Ravidas, through their dohas and verses, rejected the caste supremacies and ritualism. Kabir asked, this is Kabir's doha, Kabir asked, Pothi padpad jagmua, Pothi padpad jagmua, Pandit bhayo na koe. Reading scriptures alone does not make one wise. They appealed, this all rational thinkers appealed to the common man to think, to reason, to question. Most important, to question, which was not allowed by the scriptural orthodoxy as we talked about. And same, Jyotiba Phule, not so long, 100 years before, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, a fearless social reformer, saw that superstition and Brahmanical dominance were used to oppress the masses. So orthodoxy was not only used to make a blind faith, but it was also used to oppress the huge masses, to make them slaves, and to make them in a lowest strata of the society. So in his own, when he says that, he also opens the schools for the girls and the oppressed, which challenges the monopoly of the knowledge. So the monopoly of the knowledge which we are talking about, which is at the top of the society, is always trying to use rationalism to make a blind faithfuls and oppress those through that means. So basically, that is what the 100 years before what we see. But when it comes to constitutional making, what we call as a modern India, so then Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who was the architect of our constitution, stood as a towering symbol of rationalism. He said, cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. Human existence, ultimate aim should be the cultivation of the mind. It didn't talk about just education. We have to note here his words. Education is not the only sole thing to bring in rationalism. It is very important to cultivate the mind. He reminded us reason and morality are the only weapons to fight injustice. To fight injustice, education is not enough. It is very important to have reason and morality. Morality also he has underlined it. So rationality without morality would be disastrous. Rationality with morality can only fight the injustices and can only bring the humanity into the world. So that's why in his own way, Dr. Ambedkar then converted to Buddhism to reject superstition and hierarchy and embraced a rational, ethical path which is based on liberty, equality, and fraternity and justice. So that's what I would like to sum it up here, that rationality has its grounds in the Indian society. And there were a social reformers, social revolutionaries, and saints who had cultivated this rationality in their own sense during their time in the society. So that's what I would like to, to come to the point that we as India has a ground roots in rationality.
Yeah, correct. So coming from the historical roots toward the constitution, and as we know that we are now India is a India is governed by the constitution, and also you mentioned that yeah, constitution is based on the scientific temperament, and as far as Dr. Baba Ambedkar's quote you had said. So how would you like to count on this constitution with a rational India?
Yeah, I mean, constitution talks about fundamental duties. So it is just not a book, which is a legal document. It is also talked about how the citizens need to citizens of the India, citizens of the Indian Constitution should behave. So it puts up the holistic guidance to the governance, that how they should be facilitating their governance or administration, so that people amongst the people there is a development of scientific temper while they are living their lives. So what I mean, let us go back to that constitutional point, which actually gives a guideline to the government, guideline to the Indian citizens of fundamental duty. So, uh, so what is that? The Article 51A(h) of the Constitution says it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. Spirit of inquiry and reform should be the basis of every Indian citizen to develop within themselves and question what is all happening. So that is what the constitutional this article is based on, the Indian rationality. It's the culture of India to behave rationally. So this is just not a suggestion. It is it is citizen of India, it is our fundamental duty, as important as defending the nation. We should consider this as a defending the nation and respecting the constitution. A scientific temper is not limited to labs and technology. We have to say just technology. If we say it is just an education, as I said in my in my previous quotes, that rationality without morality is equals to zero. So scientific temper should not be just limited to labs and technology. It is about the way we think. We have to develop our thinking in schools, in colleges, wherever our in universities, wherever we have the center of education. The basic thing should be to develop the scientific temper. So when we develop the scientific temper, so what we should not be doing as a citizens of India, we should not believe in dogmas. So it should question, do we believe in logic over the dogma? Do we respect evidence over the hearsay? Do we allow children to ask questions freely? Are we doing that? Do we challenge the discrimination which is all happening across your neighbors, wherever you live, wherever you go for offices, so wherever you studies, wherever you do exchange with the people? So these are the real test of scientific temper. So we, as citizens of India, should every time question ourselves: is I am behaving like a good citizen of this country, which Constitution states to me that I should develop a scientific temper. I should behave in a manner which is being, stated by the Constitution of India. So basically, that's why the role of the Constitution comes here, very important to define, to nurture the control of the administration towards the society in a benevolent way. So that is what I mean. It is very important. Constitution talks about it, and it gives a objective to the governance body of the administration of the government of India, that you should always try to develop a scientific temper within your spheres as well as within the spheres of society. So that's what.
Correct. Yeah, as far as India is concerned, India is a democratic country and is governed by the Constitution of India. But when we come to the practical situation or practical implementation, or when we look into the social aspect of India, So we see a different picture. So there are many challenges in front of us or in front of the governing bodies as far as the scientific rationalism is considered, or scientific themes are considered, or scientific education is considered. Practically, we see it is not getting implemented. So what do you see? What are the major challenges in implementing or building a rational India, and what can be the way forward to get it done?
Basically, there are a lot of challenges in today's India, because when we in the modern India, when we talk about technologies, when we talk about philosophies which are rationals, which are rooted in the Indian subcontinent, the religions, even the religions are having like as I said about Gautam Buddha, like I said. So many other rational thinkers who were rooted in India talked about rationality, but certainly we have to understand we are in a quagmire, in a quagmire, in a sense that there are people who really don't want a rational India. As I said, as Jyotiba Phule has cited so many times, that the society has been used by the oppressors to keep them blind-faithed, to keep them uneducated, to keep them unrational, so that their supremacy will always there indefinitely. That is why there are a lot of challenges, and since the oppressors are having a lot of resources through fake news, through religious fanaticism, through the caste based hierarchical superstition. Yeah, I'm saying superstition because Dr. Baba Sahib said caste is a notion, it is in mind. So until it goes out of the mind, you won't be able to understand the basis of liberty, the basis of equality. So it won't be able to experience that unless you fight that caste based superstition by taking out that notion out of your mind. So as I said, the oppressors are having a lot of resources to do that, to keep people faithed by fake news, religious fanaticism, and also science is always sacrificed based on emotions. The justice system delivering the just judgment based on emotions, based on people's judgment. Basically, your justice system is to see that they give the judgment based on the proofs, evidences, rationality. But the justice system these days are delivering the based on the emotions, based on the majority emotions, and also influenced by the government politics. So basically, government politics and identity politics. So as we see, we have these challenges. Also, the young minds are being diverted toward unscientific and divisive ideologies. So young minds are being taught about are not being taught about technology. In the name of technology, they are taking it towards the orthodoxies, like by Vedic science, like by astrology, like by praying to some XYZ to get some good marks. So basically, there is always there has been a tendency, a known tendency, a conscious tendency to influence the masses through building all this unresourceful stuff to build their blind faith. But remember, we have to stay confident, as like those rational thinkers who were stick to their thought process of rationality, and whenever those periods were also the dark periods of what we can say the Indian history. In those dark periods, the rational thinkers have grown with the confidence and presented their ideas. So therefore, we have to remember that even the darkest night ends with the sun rises, and the sun of the reason has risen before this land and can rise again. So basically, with this confidence, we have to face these challenges of this making of an rational India.
Right, sir. Coming towards conclusion, what you will say? Is it really possible to build a rational and scientific India?
Exactly, I would like to come to that now. Basically, as I say, as has been said by our rational thinker, sun has to rise, and Satyameva Jayate. Satya has to win. So truth has to win. So basically, when truth has to win, we have to keep in confidence that we will turn out this uh, negative things into positive. So what we can do, I mean, we have to certainly think in a way to program and implement those programming to build a scientific and rational India. So what we can do. So basically, I would like to just list out few of these ideas, which maybe some of our audiences pick it up in their own daily life, and organizedly we have to work towards building up a rational India. It's not an individualistic efforts. We have to make up a sanghic efforts, efforts from of the people to drive the India towards a rational India, because it's a need of the hour. So basically, when I comes to that, then first of the point comes to my mind is education with critical thinking. So education has to be built with the critical thinking in schools, in colleges, in universities, and apart from that, the kids and the teens and the people who are getting educated, they should be given a curriculum which must include raw logic, ethics, and questioning of the authority, not just memorization. So we have to move from memorization towards the questioning form of the education, so that it builds up the critical thinking. So whenever there is a critical thinking, we will not depend on the hearsay, or some big great man is saying something and we listen to him. We have to I would like to just quote here the Kalam Sutta of Buddha, where he says, don't believe anything what if I say, don't believe anything if you hear, don't believe anything if some great person is saying. Just you have to experience it, and if that all points, if you are if comes to your mind that yes, this is true, then only you believe that this point is true. So the critical thinking is important. Second, we have to take up the mass awareness campaigns. So the use of the media, theater groups, literature, this all is needed to burst the myths which has been created by the oppressor communities. So they will always keep myths, superstition, to breathe within the society, so that they keep their blind faith. So this need to be broken. So how this can be broken by use of the modern social media, by use of the modern media. So through that, we have to make a campaign to build the to build and break the myths within the society, expose the superstitions, and promote the scientific knowledge. So this is what we can do as a individual, as a as a sangathan, through sangathan, or through by the means of people's efforts, that this mass awareness campaigns can be built up. What else? Celebrate the national rational heroes. As I said, who are our national heroes? I talked about Charvaka, Gautam Buddha, Sant Ravidas, Sant Kabir, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Mahatma Phule, Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj. These are our rational heroes. So they need to be celebrated. They need to be celebrated. All these rational heroes need to be celebrated, so that in the mind of the people, their thoughts get rooted. So that's what I mean. This is very important that we keep on doing this stuff. We do this mass awareness campaigns. We remember our rational heroes, and uh, we also talk about rebuilding the critical thinking. So basically, they looks very small, but it is a big effort which need to be done, which remains to be done. By the way, we all are trying to do our stuff by our own way, and there are people who are rational. We are not alone, left out. There are rational people, so we have to connect with all these like-minded people, and collect those resources, and start making our efforts to build a rational India, a scientific India, which is the holistic idea of our constitutional maker, our modern thinkers. And of course, once we do that, we will be the greatest nation of all the world. That's what I could like to say on today's topic. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. We can do it, and we can do it through the rational thinking, thinking within the society by building a rational India.
Right, sir. It was really very well explained, taking from the historical aspect, coming to the Constitution of India and the ways forward, and what practically it can happen. So, if every citizen of India thinks that we have to make a rational India, we have to make a scientific India, definitely it is possible. It is not like that it is not possible. So, every individual Indian citizen has to think in this particular direction. And you had rightly pointed out and rightly guided our masses, our people who are listening this particular video. So I think on behalf of MNT News Network, I would like to thank you for joining us today and giving your views and guiding our society, specifically how to make our India a scientific and rational one. And I think our viewers will take it positively, and they will definitely start with themselves and start with their family, and then start with the society where they are living, so that we all together can make this India really a scientific and rational India. Thank you very much for joining today. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.